Nigeria2015 studios here on Channel Television, and well, in a couple of minutes we'll be going for the news at 9, but we'll still have our guests in Abuja as well as here in our Lagos studios looking at this particular election, the outcome of the election. We'll love to call it Buhari's victory, but again, looking at it, basically, comments has shown that it is victory for Nigerians. And for Dr. Ologbela and Mr. Additioner, both of you have been looking at this. We're trying to look at the issue of godfatherism, which you mentioned earlier on. And we hope that, well, we'll also be looking at that when we go to Abuja. We have two of our guests in our Abuja studios, SMA Ibo and, of course, Ambassador Adigun, to look at the aspect of godfatherism and how much it has helped us positively or even negatively, if at all. Well, as a political scientist, Dr. Ologbela, help us here. How far has this fared with our politics in the country?
Well, when you look at what has happened now, in comparison to what has happened in the past there were godfathers. There were good ones and bad ones. You could refer to Chief Obafemi Awolowo as a godfather of Nigerian politics in the Southwest. But he was a good godfather in the sense that he tried to bring intelligent people along and form them into a team.
So they're good and bad godfathers.
Oh yes, oh yes. Then there's come a, you know, there came a time when you have, I will say, not so good godfathers who will drag you to the shrine to go and swear oath of allegiance to them before they give you the opportunity to become somebody. And it is those type of godfather, without mentioning any name, that created hostility between the godfather and the godson. Because once the godsons get into political office and they have the power and they see that the godfather is becoming too problematic for them, then they challenge them. And in the process of challenging them, they created crisis in some states.
Well, some people can paint all sorts of scenarios, you know, with that godfather, godson scenario, because if you as a godson and you're being taken to a shrine, one must also question your godsonship, the kind of godson that you are. But I'm also looking at this question because I'm looking at mails and people still sending their pictures. We're celebrating our viewers and they have been sending selfies of themselves, watching channels, television, staying glued to the results, a lot of them. But one of them is asking a question now. His name is Chibuzo. He says, looking beyond 2015 presidential election victory by General Buhari under the APC, what does the PDP have to, how will they survive as a party, considering the selfish and greedy nature of Nigerian politicians? Do you think that the party has a political ideology that can bind their members together, or are we expecting a mass defection?
Well, the first thing that will happen in the next few months, even before the president leaves office, is that there will be a mass defection. Because you see...
Do you see that coming?
Yes, because the composition of the PDP is made up of rich, middle class, very wealthy people who are leading the party. And one of the things that have given them sustenance or to sustain them has been in the corridor of power. And also getting the largesse from the government, federal government. And also, by the time we come to the states election and the gubernatorial election, if more states go to the APC, it will also deplete the ranks of the PDP. So it will now remain those who are really determined people to stay in opposition. You see, there is a tendency in Nigeria that any government in power, that's the one I belong. Okay? That mentality, if the PDP members allow it to crop in, then they will lose their members. However, I pray that there should be a solid opposition to challenge you know, not to challenge in an antagonistic manner, but to challenge the government that is coming or in waiting, so that they can be on their toes so as to perform better.
Mr. Adesina, do you agree with him? And what effect do you think that will have on our democracy if we see that sort of mass defection?
Well, whether I will call it mass, within the time frame he gave, even before inauguration, I wouldn't agree too much with that. Defections will come, but it may not be before May 29. But in the next 1 year, yes, I can tell you there will be a lot of realignments and reconfiguration, because as politicians think, they begin to walk towards 2019 immediately. And they know that being with the party in power will serve their purpose better. So they begin to gravitate.
Even with this new move by Nigerians to own the electioneering process?
Yes, Nigerians will own the electioneering process, but politicians will still present themselves. Nigerians will just have to choose one of those who are presented.
Are we going to open
No, go ahead.
Okay. Do you think we need a mindset and an attitudinal change amongst the politicians and Nigerians in particular, even as we step into this new space?
It will evolve. It will evolve. For instance, if we look at our politics and politicking now, we are not where we were in 1999, nor where we were in 2003. Things have evolved, and it will continue to evolve. Political education is better. Political behavior is better. For instance, in the build-up to this election, you saw people just determined. Those who wanted change were determined. When the postponement by 6 weeks came, you heard them say, well, 6 weeks will end, and it will change what we have decided to do.
Just to add to that, you find out that now people have made, you know, I would say, made up their mind that there must be change. And this change is due to the political awareness that he's talking about, and also the pinch that the economy crisis is having on each person. The devaluation of the naira and so on and so forth has affected many people.
This change we're talking about,
yes.
Are we talking about change as in, you know, when you say change, change, or continuous change?
Well,
is it positive change or change from scratch?
Look,
or is it
there are three forms. There are three forms of political changes: reform, revolution, and coup d'etats. Okay, we are going for reform for now, because the process of handing over of one government to another is an evolving and gradual thing. And as he have suggested, the Nigerian populace are gradually becoming more politically aware, more politically conscious. But I will add that what the political parties have not done is to provide us with ideological positions. The two parties, the two dominant parties right now, they do not give us ideological positions.
We're going on our closing moments. Let's quickly see if we still have Ambassador Adigun there so that he can comment on this before we go into the newsroom. You've been following discussions here in the studios from your base there in Abuja. Very quickly, tell us what you think about political ideologies, because for Dr. Darian Ologbala, he's well, attributing the fact that pretty soon we just might be seeing some realignment, some movement from one political party to the other, because people already have this culture of, well, always be in the corridors of powers to the extent that, well, it will be so strange to see that they're not around that particular corridor.
Thank you. It's very difficult for me to discern a clear political divide, ideological divide in Nigeria, because in most cases, most of our politicians lack effective ideology for you to talk. They just call carpet. They just, you know, you can imagine somebody decamping on the eve of election. So how can you see that as a serious politician? So, to me, what we are witnessing in the Nigeria political climate is politicians who have no ideology, who don't even know what is leadership. What they are interested in is their own grabbing power, getting money because you have made politics too attractive in Nigeria that some people see it as their job and they see it as a do or die. That is why I'm expecting the new changes that is now emerging. We must remove this tapping from political office. Let people know that we are not going there for money or for self-aggrandizement. The amount of money being paid political appointees is too much. It's a drain on an economy. So we should look at that. That is very important that the new changes government should look at. Then the political parties, either you have godfather or godson, there are positive and negative aspects to that. The problem we have, if you have a good political godfather, and then it might give back to a good political godson. But when the political godfather eventually and the political pathway, it affects the performance and the politics. So my belief is that the people will be the judge. We should have a modicum of who is capable to rule Nigeria, who will now meet us, what are the ideological underpinnings that will be attached to it. As it is now, Nigerian politicians, most of them are interested in the trappings of the office and their potencies of power. So we begin to downgrade that. We have to look carefully at that because if we are talking of change, the change must be dynamic. We should not go back to the same practice. So now, look at the amount of money the bill that the CPA political office holders. They see this as the only means of income. Some of them cannot even run a single business enterprise.
Well, very quickly, because we're out of time. We're out of time. In 30 seconds, if you can, what would be your message for Nigerians and the president-elect? In 30 seconds, quickly.
The president-elect should get cracking immediately. We understand where it's coming from. It will give us his blueprint for the next 100 days. We should begin to attack certain issues that will bring confidence into the new change. And he has to get his destiny. And I believe he's capable of doing that. That is my message.
We'd like to thank you so very much. Thank you so very much, Ambassador Adigun, for speaking with us from our Abuja studios live via Skype. And of course, our closing moments here. Well, let's quickly see if we can do this in 15 seconds each. Starting with Mr. Additional.
Well, I'll just say the cohesion of our country needs to be restored. I pray that the incoming regime will do that. Nigerians are too divided. Let's restore the unity of this.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ologbela.
Well, my own advice to the president in waiting is that he should constitute teams across the country to look at various aspects of the Nigerian state and the Nigerian economy. The chambers of commerce should be called, the intellectual community should be called, and these people should be given tasks to help this country because economically, educationally, we are not where we're supposed to be.
Well, we'd like to thank you so very much for finding time to join us this morning. And that's where we wrap this segment. Nigeria2015 studios will continue in a moment shortly, and that will be for the news. And thereafter, well, Dr. Ologbela said something about the economy. We'll be looking at the political economy of this whole process. That will be right after the news. Stay with us.